Welcome to Casual's Raid Act 3 Gate 2 guide video. This guide covers both difficulties. Ally skills are in the timestamp. Gate 2 is an insect type. For the card, just run Light Salvation. The boss has 300 HP bars and has 3 phases. Phase 1 Alberhostic, Phase 2 Yoho, Phase 3 Vulganus. Before covering each phase, let me cover the raid system first. Certain patterns apply infection debuff, which is stackable and lasts for 1 minute. Also, the total amount of debuff stacks that all players have is shown below the boss's HP. When the boss's stack reaches 15, then he freezes all the players who has infection debuff. Then he tries to swallow the players for 3 times. The aggro changes every time, and the swallow reaches a very long distance in a cone range. Players who do not have infection debuff can move around and just guard the swallows to save others. If you get swallowed, then you take massive damage and gets gauge above your character, which lasts for 2 minutes. If you get swallowed again or get grabbed by other normal patterns before the gauge runs out, then it guaranteed kills you. Also, there's a team meter in this gate. At the start, it already has a bit more than half. The meter decreases naturally over the time, but whenever players get infected, it fills up. When the meter is full, then the boss flies to the center. Everyone should gather to the center. Then a minigame happens, so press the correct key. If you fail, then your character goes all the way out of the safe zone, which does massive damage. Then the boss shows yellow telegraphs for 2 times. One person has to stay in the telegraph to get grabbed. When the boss arrives, stagger him. Make sure to stagger from the right side since he does infection pattern from the left side. That's the end of the full meter mech. Both of Swallow and full meter mech waste a lot of time, so it's important to not get hit by the infection patterns. Fortunately, there's a battle item that can deal with infection. With that being said, let me cover the battle items. Atropine, Dark Grenade, and for the last item, Sacred Charm or Corrosion Neutralizer, which is a special item only for this gate. Same as Flame Scroll from Act 2 Gate 1, you can craft it from the Stronghold after completing the new Unatisk in Rimeria for a week. Neutralizer is a throwing item, and it can affect up to 4 players in your party including yourself by landing on them. It has 2 effects. 1. For 7 seconds, it prevents the kill from the swallow. 2. After the 7 seconds, it reduces 1 stack of debuff from the players, so it also reduces the stacks from the boss up to the amount of players who got neutralized. First effect is not a big deal since 7 seconds invincibility is short for random aggro swallow. Plus, anyone who are unaffected can just guard to save them anyways. The second effect is the reason for usage. Removing the buff from the boss delays the swallow pattern, which allows you to save time. If the boss is close to 15 stacks, then throw the neutralizer when your party is gathered so that it reduces the stacks as much as possible. Also, very important, the neutralizer cannot be overlapped. If more than 1 player throw them, then whichever landed at the end renews the 7-second duration, which ends up delaying the stack removal. So it's better to choose the order. The best solution is not getting hit, so let me cover the infection patterns. He folds his wings and attacks the front, then does cone attack by moving back. He shows a telegraph and breathes on the front. His head glows and breathes 180 degree. When he does this, he slightly moves as well. Watch where he turns and go to the opposite side. This pattern increases the most amount of infection stacks. He bends slightly and then breathes the front while moving back a long distance. When this pattern starts, you must move with the boss to the back. If you don't, then he goes through you, which applies infection. His tail glows and spins, which hits the inner side, then attacks the outer side. First hit doesn't infect you, but it's better to dodge it as well since it applies infection on later phase. His tail glows and hits the opposite backside, then hits the other backside. If anyone got hit by the second shot, then he hits again. All 3 hits provide infection. You can dodge all of them if you're in the hit side. He spins one time and bombards outside, then inside, and attacks outside again. If anyone got hit by the attack, then he teleports to grab a player. If no one's hit, then he requires a counter. The boss glows bright and spreads pulse. Then he attacks the outer side. When he glows, stay out. Then spacebar the pulse. He charges to an aggro and disappears, then jumps to an aggro which hits in and out. Sometimes he doesn't disappear and strike that area, so watch what he does before you go in. He summons a white circle that silences you if you're not in. There are 3 kinds of patterns. 1. He does the 180 breath 2 times in a row, chases back. Then he draws lines, stay in the center, and then throws a safe zone, move in. 2. He starts spinning, so move out. When it ends, come back. Then go to the safe zone where he throws. 3. He flaps his wings on an aggro 2 times. Then attacks in cone range. Then attacks the side, and throws the safe zone. Following patterns are grab patterns that applies 2 minutes bar above your character, just like the 15 stacks swallow pattern. If you get grabbed again in 2 minutes, then it instantly kills you. He teleports and tries to grab the players for 3 times. The aggro changes every time. Just stay far away from the boss by watching the minimap. The screen darkens and he teleports to grab a player, so move far away. When no one's caught, then he cries, which stuns any players who moved during his cry. If someone's stunned, he grabs that player. But if everyone stays still, then he gets staggered. He slaps and uppercuts a player, then swallows him. If he tries to slap, then stay away from the front. The boss does certain mech periodically. At the start, he has 14 minutes of berserk time. When it reaches around 12 minutes and 50 seconds, the mech happens, and afterward, it happens every 1 to 2 minutes. Depending on the team meter amount, he does 2 different kinds of mechs. If the meter is below half, then the wave mech happens. He goes to the center, DPS him for a bit, and immediately go to the edge of ×3 and ×3+1. The center gets filled up with fog. If you touch it, then it stuns you with lethal damage. 4 random people get a puddle, and the other 4 get rectangle telegraph. The rectangle pretty much one-shots you, so you must dodge it. Let me talk about the hard mode first. The puddle players get charmed and walk to the center. At the same time, wave spreads to all directions. If the wave hits the walking players, then their movement speed increases, which results into diff by reaching the fog. Other 4 players who can control their character should block the wave on behalf of them. After the 3rd wave, a rectangle telegraph aggros to the controllable players again, so they should put it away from the walking players and then come back to tank the rest of the waves. After the 5th wave, red telegraph happens, and the walking players can finally control their character, so dodge it. That's the end of the mech. Since 4 players who get the puddle are random, sometimes it gets danced to one direction, which makes it hard to improvise. In order to deal with this problem, puddle players who are close to each other just stick together. The puddle does some damage to other players, so don't overlap right away. Stick together after the rectangle attack finishes. In this way, one player can tank the wave for several players, which makes the positioning easier. In the normal mode, The puddle players do not get charmed, but the wave does a lot of damage, so everyone have to dodge both waves and rectangles. If the team meter is above half, then the relay mech happens. The boss moves to the top side. Two people get gold mark, 2 get silver, and another 2 get purple. Also, lines are given to 3 random players. The goal is to run to the bottom part before the yellow telegraph fills up. On the way, players who have same colors should relay the line regularly, because if you don't, then he pulls back the line player all the way to the start, which is a restart. You also have to watch out the meteors coming from the bottom. If the color players get hit by the meteor, then they get pulled all the way to the start. Fortunately, other 2 people who don't have color can tank the purple meteors, but the red meteor will pull any players who got hit. Lost Ark view is isometric, so the meteors coming from the bottom is really hard to dodge. From my experience, the success rate of this mech is like under 10%. Therefore, you should avoid this mech by having less than half team meter by not getting hit by the infection patterns. This time, non-infection patterns. He hits the front 2 times and spins, then backsteps and requires a counter. Stay away from the front and then counter when he steps back. Just guard when he flashes. Then he attacks 2 times and requires a counter. Do the guard. Stay away, then counter. He attacks with clones, then requires a counter. First hit happens in the center, and the others happen on the side. So dodge the first one and stay in the center, then counter. He shows either gold or silver, then summons 2 of each colors for 3 times in a row. Take either of them. Then 2 color zones appear, and players go to the color that they took. If not, you get hit by rain, which does massive damage. Then the boss tries to grab the color side, which is same as the shown color. One player gets grabbed, and others do stagger. There's a tip for this pattern. After going to the safe zone, you can move out right after the rain starts. Then you don't get hit by the rain even though it's raining. So except for one person who gets grabbed, others can go out and do more DPS. He spreads the feather on the aggro for 3 times. Then steps back and returns them. The aggro player should stay on one direction and dodge. If he turns around, then the feather spreads everywhere, so it becomes hard to dodge when he returns them. He holds a spear and charges, then throws the spear to the backside in X shape, and attacks his front. Chase him and stick to his back. He raises his hands, then slams the ground 3 times, which generates flame in the field. Don't stick too close to him since he knocks you out. He attacks the aggro 2 times, and then uppercuts. At 235 bars, he goes to the center. Let me cover the hard mode first. 4 players get silver, other 4 get gold color. Then the pattern is shown in the field for 4 times. You have to memorize and stay on the correct color. Then stagger him. And 4 orbs appear. Destroy the orbs and take 1 blue buff since the boss kills the players who doesn't have one later at the end of the mech. He tries to suck an aggro which can be just guarded. You can fix the aggro and either guard or move out. Then the pattern repeats for 2 more times, so 3 times in total. Therefore, there are more than enough orbs that players can take. If you get hit by standing in the wrong color, then you lose the blue buff. So you have to take the orb again in that case. Also, I haven't tried this, but in the hard mode, It is told that at the start of the mech, players who have the same color of the boss's color don't have to take any orbs, and they can still survive, so you can try this. Here's another tip for hard mode. If one of the sides shows same color for 3 times, stay there for 3 times. Then move to the other side in that pie. Otherwise, one of the sides will show same color for only 2 times. In that case, stay there for 2 times and move to the diagonal side of the pie next to you. If you forgot the color, then you can always memorize this tip. In the normal mode, everyone gets gold color, and the safe zone is either out, in, or in, out, in, out. At 215 bars, he absorbs Yoho and goes to phase 2. Not only there are some new patterns, but also some enhanced patterns from the previous patterns, so let me cover them first. 4 clones hit from diagonal side, and he hits inside, then out, and strikes the side. Stay out to any cross direction, then go in and stick to front or back side. After the breath, he throws orbs to the front. He charges to an aggro with clones, and then jumps, which hits in and out. He surrounds the field and blue telegraph spreads. When it reaches the end, just guard, then dodge the cone pattern. If you fail the guard or get hit by the cone, then you turn into a Yoho for 20 seconds, which is a DPS loss. He summons twisters that turns you into Yoho and bombards the area. Move around and dodge all the patterns. At the end, he jumps on an aggro which hits in and out. He puts his tail in the ground and pulls you in. Then tentacles come out from the crack. If you stand on the crack, it stuns you and he grabs the players in a large range and attacks in donut shape, which does lethal damage. If no one's stunned, then he doesn't grab. Even if someone's grabbed, the inner side is safe, so by sticking in, you can greed DPS as long as you don't stand on the crack. At 105 bars, he isolates players by 4 and 4, and you will see clones on the edge. For one side, the screen becomes gray, and the other side stays same. 4 random players will be able to see the yellow circles below the clones. If all 4 players ping those clones, then there will be 1 clone which will be pinged twice. At the same time, clones aggro telegraph. Lock the telegraph to the center and go to where that clone is. He requires either counter or just guard. You need to know which one it is by seeing his motion, since people on the gray side cannot see the flash. If the clone pulls out one hand, then it's a counter. If he flaps his wings, then it's a just guard. If you did the counter or the guard, then you get the stagger buff. When everyone gathers, the boss requires stagger. Since he infects from the left side, stagger him from the right side. That's the end of the mech. Hold the DPS after the stagger, because he goes to phase 3 with 105 bars, so even if his HP is lower than that, he recovers it. Phase 3. He absorbs Vulganus, and the team meter system changes. If the meter is below half, then he receives more damage. But if the meter is above half, then the boss rather gets enhanced. From now on, infection patterns provide you darkness debuff as well. Also, certain patterns provide you a light buff. If players take them, then it reduces the team meter. Then let's go over to the patterns. After the cone attack, he back tumbles and requires a counter. Even his first spin infects you, and his last attack hits the front and the back, so stick to the side at the end. His third tail slap hits the entire outside. If you stick close to his front, then you can dodge all 3 hits. He spreads pulse 2 times instead of 1. Then he attacks the outer side, which can be co-op countered. When he glows, stay all the way out. And when you see the second pulse reaching the first pulse, spacebar to immune both of them, and co-op counter. He hits in a windmill shape 2 times. Then does a slow just guard pattern. The second attack happens on the other side, so once you dodge the first one, move to that side, and then just guard when you hear the hammer sound. After the charge, he teleports 1 time and throws a spear. He hits more than before and requires counter. He teleports by dropping light buffs and dark rain, then requires counter. If you succeed a counter, then you get additional light buffs which can decrease the team meter by a lot. One person gets red mark, another one gets black, and others get yellow. Black mark should stay in the circle to get grabbed. The boss aggroes to the red, so red should stay in the same direction of black but farther. Yellow just DPS him by dodging the rain. If it's not properly done, then the party takes a raid wipe degree of damage. He moves to the center. In the normal mode, he shows the direction of the wind. And the pizza happens for 5 times. Just follow all the way. In the hard mode, it shows 3 black pizzas, and one of them changes to purple. Then the wind shows the direction. Purple means go straight. Black tile means turn opposite. By doing the pizza pattern, you can decrease significant amount of team meter. If you step on the wrong color, you take lethal damage. Let's look at some examples. When the raid starts, everyone should gather to 6 o'clock and the supporters carry the party. The reason why you do this is because when the boss is cornered, he repositions to the center by attacking his front. Since this boss has a lot of dynamic patterns, you want to guarantee a chill pattern at the start. Since this boss is a guardian, he can be taunted. So after he lands at 6 o'clock, and if someone taunts the boss from the side, then he will try to dash back by looking at the taunt player. So you can trap him into the corner for like 2 to 3 times before he finally comes out. This gives a lot of DPS time for free positional class parties, but for back and head attackers, it might be a double edge. Ninave's +3 and +1 both do damage. Mario's +3 does a lot of stagger, and his +1 buffs the attack power and stagger of the party for a short time. Mystics +3 reduces the team meter. And his +1 removes all the debuff including the infection stacks. For the first one, use Ninave right after 235 HP mech. You can see the timer. Use Ninave as soon as it disappears. You get back 1.5 ally meter when the mech ends. Then use the +1 as well. If your party DPS is fast, then he might go to phase 2 right away. In that case, use the +1 after the cutscene. Next one, Special Mystic. During the phase 2 Yoho, when he flies away to do the periodical pattern, use Mystic when he is completely on the ground. Then a special Mystic triggers, which does a lot of damage. DPS hard as you can. This works even if he goes to the top side to do the relay Mech. Make sure to use it when you see the head and back indicator. For the last one, during phase 3, just use either of 3 ally skills depending on the situation. If the boss is about to get staggered, then use Mario and +1 to stagger him and DPS. If the boss has a lot of infection stacks, then use Mystic and +1. In other cases, just use Linave and +1 for DPS. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching and see you guys on Gate 3 guide. Stay Giga Chid. Spam noted.